Today on the Cricut Doctor, we'll show you how to customize this Dollar Tree travel mug. This is the Cricut Doctor. Bandwidth for the Cricut Doctor is provided by Cricut. This is Andy with the Cricut Doctor. On today's episode, we're going to show you how to turn this Dollar Tree travel mug into this. We'll show you how to do it with Silhouette, with Cricut, or even if you don't have a machine at all. We'll also show you how to do this with alternative means for those of you that don't have a heat press and those of you that don't even have a sublimation printer. Stick around. For this project, we're going to be using Silhouette Studios. If you don't have Silhouette Studios, simply open up your browser, head over to Silhouette America, and their first page, you're going to see Silhouette Studios. Click on more information. There's a download link there. Select the proper machine for you. Most of you will use Windows 64-bit, but if you have a Mac or an older Windows, that's available too. Simply click download, install the software, and once you have it, you're good to go. Now, while you're still on the internet, let's hop over to CricutDoctor.com and click on Project Files. When you scroll down, you'll see several files. The first three are already in Silhouette format. The bottom file down here is actually an SVG that's used for Cricut, but also can be used for Silhouette. Simply click it and hit the download arrow here. In Silhouette Studios, we want to make sure that the media size is selected for 8.5 by 11. Once that's done, we can close out the media preferences. Now we simply go to File, Open, select Dollar Tree Template, and we can move this around. If we double click this, we can spin it around so it's visually a little easier to work with. Doesn't matter where that sits on the page at this point. We'll change all that later. Meanwhile, we want to go to File, and this time we want to hit Merge. Under the Merge, go ahead and find a photo that you want to use. I'm going to use this one right here. Now, this picture is going to open way bigger than what you need. So we're going to click on the picture. We're going to go up to where it says width and height up here. And next to that, there's a little padlock. Click the padlock shut. Then highlight width, type in 10 and enter. This is going to reduce the photo down proportionally to 10 by 7.5. Now you're going to have to scroll down to find the file, and it's usually off and to the right. There it is. We can grab that and bring it back up. Now we're going to position that file, or that picture, over. And we can see that this size here doesn't quite cover that template. So we want to grab the corner and size it. Bring this down and see. Size this so that we know it will cover all of it. Then the next thing we want to do is position the photo where we think it's going to look best. At this point, I'm going to send the picture to the back so we can kind of see where the template is. That right there probably looks the best. At this point, we simply select everything. You do that by clicking on the board and dragging across everything. That'll highlight everything. Now we can come over to the slice function on this. It's called slice on Cricut. Silhouette calls it modify. All we're going to do is click intersect. Intersect on Silhouette is identical to slice on Cricut. So we click that, and now we have our picture sized exactly the way we need it for our cup. Now, if we want to add some print, we simply hit the text, and this works the same way in Cricut as it does here. Go to anywhere on the page. We're going to type in Pensacola. And then we're going to want to modify that text a little bit, because if we were to put that on there, it's not the most attractive. So we're going to change a couple things. First of all, I'm going to make the printing black. Right now it's clear. So we're going to make the printing black. And then you'll see there's kind of a red glow around it. We don't want those. So we're going to set those to empty. So now we just have the Pensacola. Now if we highlight this text, go up to panels, I believe it is, and hit offset. This will allow us to add, by moving this, see where our red lines are? We can make those in and out, whatever we want. Right about there probably looks best. Okay, now we have that selected, and we're going to make the trace line clear. So now, if we take this up, we've added, and that will make that just kind of pop out, look bigger. The other thing you want to kind of be careful on here is the size of the text. I find that 4 inches is about right. So if we take up here and kind of size this, we're a little over 4, not bad. I'm going to scrunch it down just a little bit. There we go. So now we can bring this up, bring our text up, whoops, bring our underline up. Select everything again, go to Objects, go Align, and go to Align Center, and that'll put everything centered. Then the next thing, while we have all this selected, let's go up and group this. So we're going to group the selection. Select everything. So now, if we move something, everything will move together. So we're going to select this now. We're going to turn it sideways to get it ready for printing. And we're going to position it up inside the box. Like so. The next step is to select the printer. It's up in the corner. You may not be able to see all of it. We want to select the printer, and we just want to make sure the entire thing is going to print. That looks very good, and we are ready to send that to the printer. Be sure to check your sublimation printer. Make sure you've selected the correct preset, and hit print. While that's going to the printer, if you don't have the correct printer settings in your printer and you didn't get them from our last video, they're posted under Project Files. Click on Project Files, scroll down and click on Download Printer Settings. You can choose to print these out if you want, or you can just look through them. It will show you every page and what settings need to be done. Just set yours exactly like this and you'll get a good clean print every time. All right, when that's done printing out, we'll continue. Now, as we said at the beginning of this, we're going to do this several different ways. Whether you have a Silhouette, whether you have a Cricut, whether you have a heat press, whether you don't have a sublimation printer, we're going to show you all the steps going on, and we'll break this down per machine. The next step is to cut out a sheet of white vinyl and also a sheet of laminate. If you're working with the Silhouette, you simply go up to Send. Once you're in Send, we're going to print this cut edge. That way, Silhouette will only cut here. At this point, we would load one white sheet of vinyl into the printer and hit Cut. After that was done, we'd put a piece of laminate on the cutting board and do exactly the same thing. When we're done, we'd have one picture off of the printer, one piece of white vinyl, and one piece of laminate. If you're using a Cricut, you would go to Upload, click Upload an Image, browse, find the Dollar Tree template SVG, click Enter. Now, we want to make this a cut image, so we'll hit Upload. And there it is. I have a couple on the page because I've already done a couple. We can click that, select it, hit add to canvas. At that point, you'll see that it's about 7.5 by 12. We put the vinyl on the mat and run it through the cutter. So we've got our vinyl, we've got our laminate sheet. We're going to put that rough side down and line it up. A lot of times the static cling on this is good enough, it will just stick. You have to worry about taping it down, but I'm going to tape it down because I don't want to have to record this twice. Oh, there we go. A little off there. There we go. Make sure those are down. Alrighty, and now into the laminate machine it goes. Okay, now that we're out of the laminator, this is nice and clear, there's no bubbles in it. We can place our sublimated picture down on top of it. And again, I'm going to tape that in place so it doesn't move when we go to press it. Now, you may be asking yourself, because I didn't mention earlier why we put the laminate sheet on there. We want to use the vinyl so we can wrap the cup with the vinyl. Problem is sublimation printed objects, as we discussed in the last video, only stick to polyester. They don't stick to vinyl. Those laminate sheets that we use, turns out those are about 100% polyester. They're excellent adhesion for this kind of stuff. Okay. Okay, we're going to set that on our press. Again, we're going to cover this with Teflon sheet. And we're going to press it at 400 degrees for 60 seconds.
A few moments later.
Ready? You can see some steam coming off the top of that. There we go. Yeah, there we have it. Okay, we're ready to wrap this thing up clearly. So the first thing we want to do is cut that out. But before I do that, I want to mention, we mentioned before, if you don't have a sublimation printer, or if you don't have a heat press, a clam heat press, the different ways that you can do this. The reason that we ran this through the laminator was because we were using a hand press. If we were using a clam press, like the one on the other side of the room, we wouldn't need to use the laminator. But the laminator is a great way if you don't have a clam style press. Also, if you don't have a sublimation printer, you can use printable sticker paper such as that from Avery. I would still cover it with laminate afterwards just because it gives it a really nice protective coating. So now we're going to cut this out. Alrighty, that looks good. Take our cup, the lid off. Now most of these, in fact all of the Dollar Tree cups always have something printed on the side. I usually put that on the back side where the seams overlap. This one's actually kind of faded out. I've had this cup for a while, so it's going to get a new look. Now we want to separate the peel. And position it. If you don't get this right, this is actually fairly easily positionable. And that is actually really good. What I'm going to do now is really make sure that's put down very good so we don't get any bubbles in there whatsoever. And there we have it. That does it for another edition of the Cricut Doctor. All the project files used in this video are available on the CricutDoctor.com under Project Files. You don't have to register and they're completely free. That's it. Now get making.